will be elves.
Wow.
And I want all the kids to have presents, you know, because they don't get to experience like these days that we all take for granted.
Sure.
So.
And we're back. Welcome back. My name is Chad, and I'm Alina, and we are the Bushbirds. We want to say thank you for subscribing today. We truly appreciate every one of you. Why? Because you're amazing. Seriously, you're just effing amazing. We really do appreciate you, and we'd love it if you make sure that you're subscribed. Just yesterday, someone mentioned they thought they were subscribed but weren't, and we were like, hey, it happens. Sometimes you unsubscribe and then come back. We get it, and we welcome you back. I used to watch Mr. Connie back in the day. It was a good little show. I was more of a late night type, you know, like Nick at Night. What about you? Yeah, a little. More than I did, probably. Over the years, we all meet people who are special to us, and one of those people for me was my Uncle Wayne. He got me into old movies and shows, while my aunt introduced me to Shirley Temple. I've seen every Shirley Temple movie multiple times. They had a Shirley Temple collection, alongside films like Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I loved those movies. They really take me back. My uncle also introduced me to Bob Hope, Bing Crosby, Jerry Lewis, and other classic comedians. I watched a lot of these old black and white movies and Nick at Night shows like Taxi, and they became special to me because of him. He was hilarious and full of stories about the shows he loved. I remember him talking one night about The Man from UNCLE, and even though I haven't seen the original, he described it with such excitement. Think about the times in your life when you spent moments with someone special like that. Sometimes it brings a tear to your eye, but ultimately, it leaves you feeling good. You get a boost from the energy you experienced back then, and maybe someday, you can be that person for someone else. When you get older, we get to be grandparents, and that's going to be great. As I spoke about yesterday, the best way to get there is through meditation. And it's not some woo-woo thing, it's really about calming down and letting your mind rest. Many people think meditation is about seeking enlightenment or seeing amazing energy, but it's simpler than that. For me, I focus on a spot in my nose, feeling the air across it, and I start by filling my belly with air, letting it out slowly, and balancing my breathing. Of course, thoughts come into your mind during meditation, and I handle them by saying, nah, that thought doesn't belong to me. I have two anchor words, peace and love. If a stressful thought arises, especially about money or bills, I remind myself that it doesn't belong to me. What belongs to me is peace, and what belongs to me is love. Those two words help me return to a relaxed state, and if I do think, I focus on what I want, peace and love. There's nothing wrong with that. It helps you relax and reach a point where your mind is calm, peaceful, and centered. And that right there, that moment is when you really find yourself. There's nothing around to distract you, nothing at all. You discover yourself in those quiet moments, and that's where your light comes from. That light fills you up, and then it starts overflowing to other people, which is exactly what we need in the world right now. That light exists in everyone, you just have to find it. Find your voice, and let it shine. Speaking of voices, it was interesting that Alina brought up the other day that Blake Lively said she relates to Ursula. Everyone else thinks she's something different. But in the thumbnail I used yesterday, which came directly from her Instagram, she shared a photo of herself making that iconic Ursula face. Don't forget what Ursula did to Ariel, she stole her voice. That makes sense now. It all lines up. Maybe that'll be her costume next Halloween. Ryan, are you listening? Blake could be Ursula, and whoever goes with her could be Ariel. Hugh could even play the lobster, and Joe Curie could be Prince Eric, not Prince Charming, of course. Anyway, moving on. Did we need a word from our sponsors? Yes, we do. Today, we want to talk about golden saffron. Have you tried it? We've got it on our Amazon store. Saffron is the most expensive spice in the world, called the golden flower, with only 3 stigmas harvested by hand per flower. It's labor-intensive and grows once or twice a year, which explains the cost. For just a couple of grams, it's about $15, which is a great deal considering what you get. We make tea in saffron water, sometimes called golden juice, and it gives a pleasant, uplifting sense of well-being. You can also cook with it. Use it in coffee, tea, or even as a dye. The aroma is amazing, and it's easy to feel proud of it just opening the can. We'll do a review video later, but if you've used it, share your experience or favorite recipes in the comments. Now, back to why we're here. Let's get into the Blake Lively situation. We went to Reddit and found a post titled, "How I Went from Supporting Wayfair to Supporting Blake Lively." The user explained that after a conversation with their brother, they began to see the bigger picture. Blake Lively, according to the post, is revolutionary, supporting black men and women and people of color in building generational wealth and seeking reparations. The post's brother explained that if Blake wins based on these allegations, it opens a door for others to hold workplaces accountable in a humorous but pointed way. Remarks, and even stereotypes, could become actionable. The Reddit post goes through a list of examples: a boss commenting on hair, saying it's beautiful or exciting; asking if the person plays basketball; commenting on being well-spoken or persuasive; asking them to run errands because they are fast; patting their shoulder at the holiday party. Each of these examples the poster argues, could be construed as sexual harassment or discriminatory behavior. The thread humorously proposes creating a 30-point list of these incidents, using Blake Lively's example as inspiration for accountability and empowerment, and told me to keep up the good work. Sexual harassment? I think so. It passes the reasonable person test. I did not consent to 2 shoulder pats or any shoulder pats at all, and it's also pervasive because he did it twice. Just say nice shoes, bro, right? Number 7. My holiday card from my boss said Ms. instead of Miss, assuming I'm married, which is gender discrimination. Number 8. My supervisor had her first child last year and described a child's genitals to me while discussing circumcision choices. Number 9. On my second day of work 3 years ago, my supervisor complimented my braids and touched the ends, no consent. Number 10. My supervisor complains about aging and talks about atrophy, dryness, joints, and HRT to a 26-year-old, implying sexualized body concerns and discrimination. I'm grateful Blake Lively has paved the way because this could all be actionable. With support from Blake, Ryan Reynolds, and their followers, the work moving the conversation forward is brilliant. It's strategic, subtle, and intentional. No one can fully trace it, which only amplifies the impact. Comments online reflect a mix of awe and humor, like Lost Engineer 1689 joking about the timeline or others suggesting playful ways to assert control, like forcing florals or selling liquor, though let's not do that. Some posts reference Blake Lively supporters gaining karma from online engagement, highlighting her influence and cultural reach. The thread continues with workplace complaints, doors being opened patronizingly, excessive eye contacts, inappropriate comments about attire, denial of overtime, and unfair stipends. The poster even texts their lawyer and ignores HR, asserting their right to be CEO. This reflects a larger theme, claiming power and agency while navigating workplace hierarchies. It's about stepping in, rallying support, and confronting authority when needed. The post emphasizes strategy, from gathering allies to subtly undermining the CEO, all with a humorous, almost mafia-style plan. Engagement on Reddit is high, with thousands of likes and comments. The story underscores Blake Lively's cultural role, someone who moves conversations forward, empowers others, and inspires action. Finally, the imagery is striking. Blake Lively, in a promotional photo from back in the day, had her feet up on a model dressed as a black man, seated like an ottoman, while holding a martini. The visual shocked many and cemented her reputation as bold and unfiltered, showing her willingness to challenge norms visually and culturally. In this narrative, she embodies Ursula, taking charge, asserting influence, and guiding others to find their voice. I don't know why that picture doesn't come up more. It's absurd. They're trying to bury it, but it's one of the craziest I've seen. Why would you blackbody a white guy? It's weird, offensive, and borderline racist, especially the position she put him in. Absolutely terrible. Then there's the issue of satire. People get outraged so easily, but some posts are just ridiculous commentary. The complaints about sexual harassment are serious though, because they refer to covered parts of the body. You can compliment shoes because everyone has them, but commenting on feet or pants feels weird. Talking about lawsuits and damages. If you ever sue someone, why not start at the highest number imaginable? Even if it's absurd, the insinuation matters more than evidence sometimes. Just being from California or claiming to be can work in your favor, and you can even bring amicus briefs to court. The idea of "I'm going to call my lawyer" reminds me of being in the South and hearing people threaten legal action they clearly can't afford. Lawyers are expensive, even bad ones, so sometimes it's just bluffing. You can manipulate the system with clever loopholes, like citing California law based on a TV show you watched or a Facebook post you made. Yesterday we got a comment from Vogue and Laureate saying they've been binging our Blake Lively videos, which we really appreciate. They also asked if we plan to cover lawsuits involving Priscilla Presley and her family. Honestly, I know so little about it that I didn't even know who Priscilla Presley was married to, Elvis or Michael Jackson. Turns out there's a mess of lawsuits, hiding assets, involvement in Elvis's death claims, accusations of financial manipulation, and even family disputes over life support decisions. Comments suggest the hospital might be at fault for not following Lisa Marie's wishes, while others discuss common law marriage issues and inheritance disputes. People are confused, angry, and debating the legitimacy of these claims, with some clearly joking, others outraged. It's wild because Priscilla Presley seems to be under fire from multiple angles at once, and the internet is buzzing with opinions. It's hard to separate fact from speculation, but the sheer chaos is fascinating. All we know for sure is that she's been involved in multiple legal controversies. People are commenting endlessly about what she did or didn't do, and it sparks heated debates about ethics, inheritance, and celebrity culture. And looking back at the history of icons like Marilyn Monroe and Elvis Presley, you realize these figures have loomed over our cultural memory for decades, shaping perceptions and stirring strong reactions every single year. So, apparently she's been lying for years. The comments are a mix of reactions, some people mad at her, some defending her. It seems clear she wasn't Elvis's longtime wife. She was his ex-wife. They were married only 6 years, divorced 4 years before his death. People are upset because she was put in charge of Graceland and allegedly profited off it, selling assets and keeping money that some think should have gone to Lisa Marie or the estate. Graceland itself evokes a lot of nostalgia visitors. Remember the airplane exhibit, the TV room, but the financial and legal mess overshadows all that. Priscilla met Elvis when she was 14, but they didn't marry until she was about 19. The timeline in between is murky. The discussion online gets wild. One commenter even claimed they smoked weed with a guy named Elvis Presley who was related to the real Elvis Blanc. You looked like him, and confirmed the family connection. Flea markets, childhood memories, and odd coincidences aside, it all feeds into the story of how Priscilla has managed the Presley legacy. The consensus in the comments is that Priscilla squeezed every dime she could from the relationship. Fans are frustrated that she continues to profit from Elvis's fame, giving tours, making appearances, and monetizing the Presley name decades later. Some worry she's even channeling money into Scientology rather than preserving Graceland for the fans or family. People argue she should step back, leave Graceland alone, and stop capitalizing on her former marriage. Overall, the takeaway is that Priscilla Presley is no Jackie Kennedy, Elvis was no JFK, and Graceland is not Arlington. She made a career out of being Elvis's ex-wife, continues to profit from it, and the fans, commentators, and even media outlets are divided on how to judge her actions. The story keeps evolving, but one thing is clear. She's seen as a shrewd operator who has leveraged every opportunity from her association with Elvis. They're clearly trying to push this into the media, just like we've seen with Blake Lively. It's the same pattern. They put stories out there so the public will feel sympathy for her because she's connected somewhere. I mean, come on. She even married Elvis. Her connections must have been serious to meet him at 14, with promises being made behind the scenes. That alone is interesting and worth digging into. But people are going to fight over Elvis. That's the last thing we need. Yesterday, I was scrolling through all these videos and comments, and it was overwhelming. There was just so much. Some of it even claimed Elvis is gay, which really threw me at first. It got complicated, and then John Travolta's name popped up. Things got even weirder. So, we'll unpack this piece by piece. You can tell us what you know, and if you have extra information or comments you want read, we're always open to it. We love hearing from you, and it's helpful to know where in the world you're watching from. So what are your thoughts on Priscilla? It's fascinating stuff, definitely a mix of legal maneuvering, legacy, and money. Some would say she's taking advantage of Elvis's name, and maybe she should get slapped around a little in court for it. But, as always, we go with what we know and keep a level head about it. Double shimmies today, because no one's going to break my stride. If you've stayed with us this long, we may even do a live session on Christmas Day. We're thinking earlier in the day, around 8 or 9 a.m. Eastern, because we'll be up with our son, and later in the day might be too late. If you want to vote on the timing, that's fine, to work it out among yourselves. We love you, and we'll keep moving forward with the updates. Bye for now. Bye for now.